Welcome back to Midnight Oil. I'm Keeg, and today I'll be your guide through all things curious and connected.
And I'm Tab, here to break down the mind blowing links between humans, machines, and the Pixar movies.
Tonight, we're exploring one of Pixar's most fascinating, reoccurring themes: how humans and technology shape each other. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse.
From the sentient toys of Toy Story to the dystopian warnings of Wall-E, Pixar's tech savvy tales are about more than just gadgets, they're about humanity itself.
Here's one thing to think about: which Pixar film features the first ever AI character with a full blown existential crisis? We'll reveal it later.
Yo, that's deep.
Let's dive right in. The tech side of The Incredibles. One of the standout pieces of technology in the movie is the Omni Droid, which is the big giant robot that Syndrome created, that was designed to be smarter, stronger, and faster than human beings. And it was basically the ultimate technological marvel in this timeline.
Oh,
But here's the twist: if you watch the movie, the Omni Droid wasn't built for destruction. It was literally created to outsmart its human opponents. That's it. But that included superheroes. So, like Syndrome thought, let's see how far we can push technology to make the perfect weapon. And for a while, it worked. But the Omni Droid is nearly unstoppable, and it was capable of learning from its mistakes and adapting to new challenges. But it ultimately turns against him because it's literally the classic tale of, I'll call it, human hubris. Thinking we can control advanced technology only for it to backfire spectacularly. Isn't that fun? Syndrome wanted
yeah.
to use the Omni Droid to fake his own heroics, but in the end, he's outsmarted by his own creation. And I think that's really funny, and I love irony so much. It's a pretty clear commentary on how our reliance on technology can spiral out of control if we're not careful. And I'm talking mostly like AI and robotics that like replace jobs and stuff. So
Hmm.
it wasn't just a cool villain, right? It was literally a reminder of technology that, while it was like super duper powerful, it's only as safe as the intentions and safeguards that are put behind it, right? So when we let ambition blind us, tools we create kind of become our downfall. So, Tab, what is your take on how technology shapes the rest of the movie's themes, especially with the Parr family and their powers? Also, I always forget their last name is Parr.
Wait, The Incredibles?
Yeah.
That's actually no way.
Yeah, that's their last
I
name.
thought their last name was just Incredibles. Yo,
My name, first name Mr. Last name Incredible.
I really,
Oh
I
no.
genuinely thought that that was the case.
Oh.
Because I was at first I was like Parr family. Who the fuck is that? Is that part of Syndrome or something? But no, I'm there. I'm there. So
Oh no.
yeah, let me answer your question for you. On the surface, it's all about superheroes, saving the day, defeating villains, and so on. But when you do look closer, technology actually does play a huge role in their journey. The Parr family's powers are all natural, they're born with them, but it's the technology around them that influences how they use those powers and how they relate to each other. For example, Edna Mode's suits. Without her tech, the family wouldn't be able to fully utilize their abilities. And those suits aren't just cool gadgets, they're tailored to each family member's powers and personality. Like Dash's suit is designed to handle the friction and heat from his super speed. Violet's invisibility, so she has to have the tech woven into that. Elastigirl's can stretch with her, and so on. But, but, let's not forget the tracking devices and the communication systems that Edna includes. So she's not just giving them the tools, she's giving them a way to stay connected as a team and as a family. Mm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But here's the flip side. So Syndrome, he's also using the technology. And for him, it's all about control and domination. So his Omnidroid was designed to overpower others and prove his superiority. So it's a very stark contrast to how the Pars use technology to support and protect each other versus him wanting to go crazy, go stupid, you know?
And in the second movie, they really embrace it. Like
Mm-hmm.
technology is all over the place in the second movie. It literally like is, I would say, the main driver of the movie.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the intent behind it. So obviously the Parr family uses it to amplify their strengths, stay connected, and Syndrome uses it to try to replace his lack of natural powers. What a
Did
loser for real.
Yeah, did he die?
I don't necessarily know if he died.
Oh yeah, he died.
Oh,
Yeah,
beautiful.
he's dead. At least that's what Disney Wiki says.
Did
Yeah, so if you were a Syndrome fan, he's cooked. So
straight up.
yeah, I guess technically he doesn't have superpowers. I forgot about that. He's just a
Mm-hmm.
kid in a suit, and then he
Yeah.
doesn't he go like through helicopter blades or something?
I haven't watched that movie in a really long time.
Let's see. Okay, so Syndrome died when Mr. Incredible threw his car at Syndrome's jet plane, causing his cape to get
Yo.
caught in the jet, resulting to him being pulled into the turbine and killed by the blades and intense heat of the engine explosion.
Whoa.
He actually got cooked.
Whoa. Moral of the story, though, man, never design a machine smarter than yourself. It very obviously won't end well.
He deserved it. He did kidnap a baby.
I mean, fair. But I have a little fun fact. So, did you know that the Omnidroid's design was inspired by real life robotics research into autonomous behavior? So, Pixar did their homework on that one.
That's crazy. So they were like, yeah, this checks out. Put that in the movie. Write that down. Write that down. Moment.
Yeah, very much that.
That's crazy. No, the Omnidroid actually, like, if it didn't have the plot that the writers made, if it had plot armor, which it should have, it would have destroyed everything. Because it
Mm-hmm.
had the pattern recognition was crazy. It had pattern recognition in the early 2000s. Yeah, you're cooked.
For sure, yeah. But let's shift gears and let's dive into Toy Story. At first glance, it's just a sweet story about toys coming to life when humans aren't around. But if you think about it, what if these toys are an early form of sentient technology in Pixar's universe? Now, I really feel like we're putting on our tinfoil hats right now. I'll be so real. Because these are just kids' movies. But let's keep going. So the toys aren't just moving and talking, they have feelings, memories, and a sense of purpose. So that's not just magic. That's sentience. So it makes you wonder, how did they get that way? And the toy's sentience isn't random. It's actually tied to their relationship with humans. Their whole existence revolves around loyalty and belonging. So they thrive when they're loved and played with, but when they're forgotten, it's like they're cast aside, struggling to find meaning. So, like Woody in Toy Story 2, he's torn between staying loyal to Andy and preserving himself in a museum. So he's having this deep existential crisis, one that you wouldn't really expect from a toy. And that was our little teaser from the beginning about the first ever AI character with a full-blown existential crisis. By the
That's
way,
that's probably not the only thing he's dealing with, right? Like, this is when he goes to Al's toy barn, right?
I want to say
Or he's
so.
taken home. He's taken home with Al, and he like wipes over Woody's foot where it says Andy to make him look like he's in pristine condition, and then puts him in the thing, and then he's like, hey, look, it's Woody's Roundup," and then he's like, "I don't think I belong here. I don't want these polished eyeballs all the time
Mm-hmm.
poking me with this Q-tip thing or whatever he was using. Nuh-uh."
I always like really loved that scene though. I'll be so
It
real
was a
with
good
you.
scene.
It was really
It scratched itches.
yeah, like it was really well. I want to say filmed, but obviously it was animated. Really well animated.
No, Tab. It was filmed.
Oh yeah,
Those were
that's right.
real people, remember?
Yeah. Sentient toys. I'm there. I'm there.
That's right. The camera quality was just poor. It was the 90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s.
No, that's fair. But let's get into Buzz Lightyear, right? His entire identity is built on the belief that he's a real space ranger. When he finds out he's just a toy, it's like his whole fucking world collapses. But then he rebuilds himself through connection and purpose. So it's really wild when you think about it. These toys aren't just tools or objects, they're evolving beings with emotional depth. So it's almost like Pixar is hinting at the early stages of AI, machines or objects developing intelligence and relationships because of their interactions with humans.
Do you think they did that on purpose?
I
Or
don't know. Shit's
do you think it was
crazy.
just like a coincidence that AI blew up?
I don't know. Maybe they were ahead, maybe they weren't. This is tinfoil hat territory.
My hat's on.
Yeah. Maybe I need to put my hat on.
Yeah, my hat's on. I'm with this right now.
Now I have a question for you though.
I like questions.
So you know how we hit that Woody had a full-blown existential crisis. Well, there was one
Mhm.
more. So which Toy Story character has the biggest existential crisis in the entire franchise?
Well, Rex is literally schizophrenic, so I'm inclined to say Rex, but I want to say either the aliens. Oh, the army men though. Oh man, hold on. They're all Delulu. No,
It's a
who?
newer
Who?
character.
A newer character?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the is it the Spork?
Yeah.
Bro,
Forky.
Sporky had me tripping out, bro. I was like, ain't no way we had Toy Story 1 banger, 2 banger, 3 banger, 4. It wasn't bad, but the main character was a spork with googly eyes and the little pipe cleaners.
Yeah.
That was his character. That's
That
who he was.
that guy spent half of Toy Story 4 screaming, "I'm trash."
I'm gonna have to rewatch Toy Story 4 before I call it bad, because I don't remember it being bad. Keanu Reeves played Duke Nukem, or whatever his name was.
Hey, yo.
And I was with it.
That's crazy work.
But I totally agree with what you're saying,
Mhm.
because those themes and the loyalty and belonging is just huge. Because if we zoom out a little bit, Toy Story is a bigger idea that Pixar is just kind of like weaving into this evolution of objects gaining consciousness. And in Toy Story, the toys aren't just alive. They literally have their own identities. They have complex emotions. Like they have their own lives. Like I wouldn't be surprised if some of these toys had a 9 to 5. And it's like they're sentient beings who still serve a very human-esque purpose. And that raises some interesting questions like, are they sentient because humans are projecting meaning onto them, or does their connection to humans give them life in some way? Because we see some toys not come to life. So just, think about that. And here's the wild part, right? The idea mirrors how we connect with technology. So if you think about how, what's a good example? Like, okay, so when people name their cars, right? It feels you're feeling a sense of attachment to your phone, or like sometimes you talk to your voice assistant like Alexa or Siri. It's like we're programmed to form emotional bonds with the things that we create. And just like Andy bonds with Woody and Buzz, Pixar is tapping into something very universal here, which is the way our creations reflect our own emotions and needs, which is just bonkers. But Toy Story, is it really about just toys? No, because that wouldn't be good media. It's more setting the stage for how we as humans relate to technology. Because maybe the toys are a metaphor, right? This is my tinfoil hat. Maybe the toys are a metaphor for how we'll view sentient objects in the future, which like being things we create that serve us, but also have their own desires and purposes. It's just, like it's a crazy topic and concept to think of, but what does it mean to give life to something, right? Like whether it's a toy or a piece of tech, Pixar might just be telling us to think about where that line is between object and companion. So, I mean, what do you think? Do you think it's intentionally setting up bigger questions, or do you think it's just like great storytelling?
I mean, considering how deep this like rabbit hole has gone, it could potentially be setting up deeper meanings, to be so real with you.
I would love to see like a Pixar Avengers thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would go crazy. I don't think it'll happen, but that would be just like get the whole lineup. Oh, that would be cool.
That's
Anyway,
wild work.
a little trivia break. Toy Story 3 demonstrates the concept of an AI rebellion. So, what toy, which one briefly demonstrates that?
It has to be that bear, right?
It's the bear. The
Mm.
psycho bear.
What was his name?
Absol Lotso,
Oh God.
little psychopath, dystopian dictator, purple. Ooh, I almost said hurtful bear words.
Hurtful bear words. That
I held
purple
myself back.
motherfucker.
Purple. I was just gonna say purple fuck, but I was like, we're doing it. Never mind.
Yo, we mark all of these episodes explicit.
Yeah, if you're a child or you're a parent and you were thinking about letting your child listen to this, man, brother, dude, we got something to tell you.
You probably shouldn't.
So, yeah, just don't, or do it with them and
Yeah.
be like, this is what this means. Or, maybe cover their eyes or ears or mouth or nose, however they perceive the sound. Anyway, I'm moving on to my favorite, potentially favorite topic, favorite segment we've ever done. Think about Wally. I love Wally. And that movie goes crazy because it takes Pixar's exploration of technology and sentience to a whole new level, right? All of these robots are autonomous. At its core, Wally is a dystopian story with humanity abandoning Earth, leaving it buried under mountains of waste, and yet, through all of the chaos and decay, there's one little resilient robot who refuses to give up. Wally. He's more than just your cleanup guy. He's a symbol of hope, which I think is so cool. While humanity just fled and fucked off to the stars, living in a tech driven bubble of comfort and complacency, Wally is down on Earth, preserving the remnants of our culture. He collects little trinkets, he watches old musicals, and he tends to a little tiny plant, which happens to be the first sign of life returning to the planet. He represented the resilience in the face of overwhelming odds, showing us that in dark times, there's a lot of potential for, renewal. And it's not about just, technology. It's about survive. Like, just think. He's there by himself, surrounded by a bunch of dead relatives, basically, right? All of the other Wallies are deactivated or dead or whatever you want to call it. But it's not just about survival, it's about redemption. And the little robot, little Wally, reminds us that technology doesn't have to be our downfall. Now, it makes it really look like it throughout the whole movie, but humans rely on the technology in destructive ways, floating around on the chairs and staring at the screens all day. It got a little too real, especially if you watch it now. It's
Mm.
like, whoa, this is like what we're becoming. It shows that Wally can also be technologically a good force for good. And he embodies the idea that even tools we create to fix our mistakes can inspire us to be better. And, wrapping up my little piece on Wally, there's the relationship between Wally and Eve, where their connection is not just the most adorable robot ship I have ever shipped in my whole life. It is the reminder that technology, even in an advanced form, can have a little heart. And that may not be true in real life, but it sure as hell worked in the movie. And through Wally, Pixar is saying that resilience and redemption are possible, but it requires us to connect with each other and take responsibility for the messes that we made, both quite literally and figuratively. So while Wally feels more like a warning about what happens if we let technology go like and waste get out of control, it's also like a super incredibly optimistic story, and it's saying no matter how far we fall, there's always a chance to rebuild. Or at least it's trying to be optimistic about that.
Hmm.
Like, you watched Wally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I know it's part of your thing, is the axiom, the ship,
Mhm.
but could you not imagine that ship existing in like 20 years? Like, maybe not to that extent, but like space cruise ships, basically.
Yeah,
Like, that makes total sense.
I can
Like,
see it
if
for sure.
if Jeff Bezos or Elon decided, hey, I want to get into the space cruising business, it would look like that. Especially if Elon did it because he's just a meme lord. He would make it look like that on purpose. But like, could you just imagine having these big ass ships out in space? And we're gonna have like one of the what was the submarine that they went down and looked at?
I can't remember the name, to be honest.
The Titan by Ocean Gate. Yeah, Ocean Gate was scary. Could you imagine that happening to like hundreds of thousands of people on a ship in space?
I will not be on that ship.
Also, did you know that you wouldn't instantaneously die in space? This is just a tangent, but
Don't your eyeballs get sucked out?
no, that's a myth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no air pressure, so that
Oh,
wouldn't
no, you
happen.
freeze to death, don't you?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
suffocate slowly because there's no oxygen out in that bitch.
fair enough.
It's like that SpongeBob meme where he's in Sandy's tree dome and he's like, water, but it's us with air.
Oh, no.
Water, Sandy.
That would be fucking horrible, actually.
Yeah, no, being out in space without like a breathing apparatus sounds terrible.
Being out in space, not connected to a ship, sounds terrible because then you're just fucking floating there forever.
Yeah, but yeah, take us into it because I know you have some Axiom stuff.
Yeah. So on the other side of things, up in the Axiom spaceship, that's humanity's last refuge after abandoning a trashed Earth. So in the ship, it's paradise. Everything's automated from food delivery to personal transportation. But there's like obviously the catch, right? People on Axiom are so dependent on their machines that they lost almost all physical and social capabilities. Like they just ride around in their little hover chairs, glued to screens, and they barely interact with each other, if at all. And it's just irony. So the technology was supposed to make life easier, but instead it's actually made humanity weaker. Physically, they've become almost unrecognizable. Tiny bones, no muscle tone, and socially, they've lost their sense of community. And so that's just another hit on what makes Wally's story so powerful. Because, he's just a little dude that's been down there cleaning up humanity's mess. Meanwhile, the humans on Axiom, they've just forgotten like everything, how to connect, how to care, how to rebuild. So it's not like they're advancing up there like they thought it would be. They're just stuck.
Yeah.
And so it's a very stark contrast. The humans are surrounded by all this advanced technology, but then there's Wally, who's just a simple little old school robot, but he's the one that actually has heart and determination to change things. So Wally, interestingly enough, thank God, he sparks something in the humans, and it's a desire to move, to interact, to reclaim their identity. So it's like he's showing them that technology doesn't have to replace humanity, it can coexist, but only if we don't let it take over.
Yeah. It's
S-
literally terrifying.
yeah. And the axiom is just a glimpse of what happens when we forget how to balance technology with humanity. And it's a warning about letting convenience outweigh purpose.
I would love to see how like just a breakdown of all of the little minute details like we have similarities to in that movie in real life now in like 2025. I'd
Yeah.
love to see like a comparison video because the chairs with the screens on them is so like real. That's literally us with our phones.
What if we make that video?
Yeah, we'll do it. Let's take a step back, look at the big picture in the Pixar universe. If you're a fan of lining things up and making things work together, there's this little wild idea that all of the Pixar movies exist on the same timeline. and it basically tells one giant story about the evolution of life, technology, consciousness, all kinds of good fun stuff. Well, one of the most fascinating trends through the Pixar's films is the relationship between humans, technology, and other anthropomorphic beings. So if you think about it, in The Incredibles, we see early AI with the Omni droid, a little robot capable of learning and adapting to outsmart humans. Fast forward Toy Story, well, I guess you would go back. I think Toy Story takes place before The Incredibles. Basically, we have object just gaining consciousness, forming emotional bonds, and questioning their purpose. And then you have Wally, which is way far in the future, and technology has completely taken over, leaving humans completely disconnected and Earth abandoned. It's like Pixar is walking us through the stages of our relationship with the things that we create, starting with invention and moving towards the consequences of over reliance. And where it gets really fun, if we think about these movies as part of a timeline, The Incredibles could represent the early days of advanced technology with the Omni droid as the precursor to AI. Then in Toy Story, we see the beginnings of objects gaining sentience. So you could put Toy Story before or after, I feel. And then you jump ahead to Cars, where we're now in a world where machines have fully just replaced human beings. Don't look up the inside of a car from Cars, by the way. It's terrifying. You don't want to do that. There's no sign of people at all. And finally, in Wall-E, the remains of humans as a whole, are shown trying to reclaim their place in the world dominated by their own technology. So Pixar might be telling us, hey, technology isn't inherently good or bad. It's a reflection of us, and when we use it responsibly, like Wally and Eve do, it can be a tool for hope and renewal. But if we lose control, like Syndrome with the Omni droid or humanity in Wally, it can lead to disaster very quickly. And it's a cautionary tale wrapped in some very heartwarming storytelling. So, is Pixar intentionally weaving its massive narrative, or are we just reading too much into it? Do I have the world's largest tinfoil hat on and is Tab laughing at me? Either way, it's pretty amazing how the films keep coming back to take very universal, cool themes of creation, connection, consequence, stuff like that. So, Tab, what's your take? Do you buy into it? You think they're connected? You think it's a coincidence? What do you think?
You know, diving into it, I do think they're connected.
I really do.
But we'll find out a little bit more about that later this week. Wink,
That's
wink.
right. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, pat, pat. All right. So I'm throwing you a curveball, going off script. I'm not using this question that we have written down. Actually,
Good.
which Pixar movie implies that emotions themselves might be the most advanced technology humans have?
Inside Out. Let's
Ah!
go.
Yes, it is Inside Out. You got me.
Huge.
I wanted to throw a little curveball.
I'm ready for whatever.
But no, seriously, like a lot if you look like at the Pixar movies from like an adult standpoint, and you are very like technology is kind of going crazy, you'll see those movies very differently.
Facts.
But yeah, I think that's it.
That's wraps for
Want
this one.
want to take us out?
Yeah. From Omnidroids to Wall-E, Pixar's vision of technology isn't just about gadgets. It's about what it means to be human.
And whether you're talking about sentient toys or dystopian robots, the questions always comes back to us. How do we shape our tools and how do they shape us?
Now, listeners, it's your turn to chime in. And I'm going to keep it so super simple for this one. But what's your favorite Pixar movie? Full stop. Just let me know. You can comment either down below, or you can find all of our socials in the description of whatever you're listening on.
What is yours before we totally wrap up? I bet you can't guess mine.
Mine's gonna have to be. Oh, actually, hold on. Monsters Inc. No questions asked. Fuck you. Fuck you, mother. Anyway.
Oh, Monsters Inc. is really good.
So
Do you like
good.
Monsters University?
No.
No?
Well,
Okay.
it's okay.
I think it's a good prequel.
The jazz intro is really what does it for me.
Yeah, that was literally goated.
Yeah.
Wally.
Okay. Yeah.
No questions.
Saw that coming.
There's nothing. Yeah. Thank you guys for joining us today on this wonderful Wednesday, or whenever you're listening to it. Hopefully it's immediately when it comes out. And we on Friday, or sign up for the Patreon, get it on Thursday, because you should do that.
Yeah.
Be an early bird. We're going to deep dive into some connected ideas. That's all I'm going to give you. Put them together. Figure out what I'm saying before I say it on Friday. Don't forget to check out the Patreon, because you do get the episode a day early. So make sure you join the Patreon. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you on Friday. And do what Tab said. Message us on the socials, or like our socials, or just, look up our socials. Even if you don't message us,
The Omni Droids will be after you if you don't check out our socials. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you Friday.
Nighties!
Good night.